What's up, everybody? It's Maddie and Julia back with a little marital wasabi. This video is connected to Couple Minutes episode 12, which looks at one similarity between marriage and fishing.
So we have 5 children. Our youngest is Benson, who is 5, and Benson loves to go on fishing trips. And I can still remember on his first fishing adventure with Maddie, him telling me all about his first catch.
Yes, and actually, we can go ahead and say his first big catch.
That's right.
And you can probably imagine, but this fish keeps getting bigger and bigger with each retelling of the story.
That's right.
Now, unfortunately for Benson, we actually have a picture of that first catch.
That's so funny. Look at that monstrous catch.
That's right.
So what does fishing and marriage, what do they have to do with each other? So we really think that just like in a fisherman's tale, you can easily exaggerate and embellish. Those things can also happen in marriage. Unfortunately, it's easy to find yourself in a pattern of exaggerating.
Yeah, and we begin to think in marriage that we need to exaggerate our feelings, our opinions, our concerns, because that's the only way that we'll be heard. Mm-hmm. If I don't turn up the volume on this, if I don't bring a shocking headline, then my spouse won't take me seriously. Mm-hmm. And we don't know if this is the case with you, but for us, the reason why we got into a pattern of exaggeration was because in whatever subject we were talking about, we didn't trust the other person. So I'll give you an example. When speaking opportunities would be presented to me, I would exaggerate the potential impact, and I would talk to Julia like they were once-in-a-lifetime opportunities. Unfortunately, somebody would text her the picture of me talking to 5 people in a room. But the reason why I exaggerated the potential opportunity was because I didn't trust that Julia was open to adding one more thing to the calendar.
Mm-hmm. And in those same types of experiences, I began to exaggerate the negative impact that all of his traveling was having on our children and his attachment with them and his connection with them. I would exaggerate it to these extreme levels to force him to think that's really negative, because I did not trust that he really wanted to impact our family and could hear my desires.
And she's telling me about how our kid is just missing us, and I'm like, how did a 2-month-old communicate that to you? But what happened was we both were exaggerating. Mm-hmm. We both were turning up the volume on our desire because we thought that's the only way that we would be heard.
So if you allow this pattern of exaggeration to become the norm, then it really impacts your perception of one another.
Yep.
So I began to speak to Matt like he's always the type of man that looks to impact others before he looks to impact his family.
And I would say, Julia, you always say no to any opportunity because of your family. Mm-hmm. What happened was a trust issue gave birth to a truth problem. We started to relate to each other in ways that really wasn't true. Right. You know, friends, exaggeration may be harmless in fishing. And actually, it's kind of cute when Benson talks about his monster catch. But exaggeration, it's not harmless in marriage. It actually can lead you places that you don't want to be. Trust problems can create truth problems. But here's the good news. If you can find yourself, if you can catch yourself in the moments where you tend to exaggerate, maybe you start to talk about how much you really need something because you don't trust that your spouse would ever approve of you spending money. If you can catch yourself and you can follow it back to the trust issue and you say, well, there it is right there. That's the place that we struggle to trust. Then you can start working on a beautiful question.
Yes, asking the question, how can I begin winning trust in this area? If that's what you're trying to do for one another, then you'll see some beauty happen.
Yeah, and when a couple begins to win each other's trust, then that's like catching a fish so big, it's hard to exaggerate. This has been Marital Wasabi. For more resources to grow your marriage one conversation at a time, go to coupleminutes.com.